I'm Steve Scott. Let's talk hop.
Hey, welcome back. It's been a little while since I've done one of these videos. I trust that everybody's doing okay dealing with the physical, the emotional, the financial disturbances caused by this COVID-19 pandemic. It's a really crazy time we're living through. Um, but I wanted to talk today a little bit about drift and accumulation, and because I think this pandemic we're going through is a great case study in how this occurs. So, a lot of you have probably seen Todd Conklin use this chart to describe drift and accumulation and how bad things occur, with the black line being the way the job was designed and the blue line being the way the job is performed. And as drift occurs, the blue line gets further from the black line. And meanwhile, these hazards down at the bottom, they ebb and flow, they come and go. And when the hazards intersect the operator, or the worker who's adjusting in real time to the changing conditions, that's when bad things happen. Now, it's probably really easy for a lot of us to look at that and say, well, the goal should be to keep the blue line close to the black line. And I don't fundamentally disagree with that. But I think the challenge for us is to understand why the blue line gets developed. Why don't people always stay close to the black line? And there's lots of reasons. And I promise you, those reasons aren't lazy workers or stupid workers. Just think of all the things we're doing during this pandemic that are vastly different than the way it was designed to be done. From very simple things to very big things. The other day, I received a FedEx shipment, and when the driver dropped it off in the front of my house, I was very happy to tell him to sign my name on his tablet, acknowledging receipt of the package, so that I didn't have to get close to him. I saw something on social media the other day where someone was walking through a building, and the person they were with, when they got to a staircase, they were told, hey, be careful, don't touch the handrail. I was talking to someone about that worked in a facility that's still running, and they're not correcting people for where there's a roll-up truck door next to a pedestrian door, and the people are walking through the roll-up truck door so they don't have to touch the doorknob on the pedestrian door. We're seeing healthcare providers wearing garbage bags because they don't have the right PPE. We're seeing them reuse, trying to sanitize and reuse N95 respirators. So we're just seeing all these things that are vastly different from the way the work was designed. And a lot of times, most of the time, it's for a really good reason. What we have to do is when we're looking at deviations from the norm, rather than automatically try to bring that deviation back up to the black line to where the work was designed, I think the first thing we have to do is understand why the deviation occurred. And in understanding that context of why the deviation occurred, then we can make some decisions. Do we need to move the blue line closer to the black line, or do we need to move the black line? And in a lot of the things we're doing today during this COVID-19 pandemic, we're moving the black line. We're consciously making a decision to lower the standard or to change the standard to accommodate the real conditions that people are facing today. Now, again, this is an extreme example. Nothing like this has ever happened in my lifetime, and probably yours either. But the same thing happens at work every day, where people make decisions to deviate from the black line with good intentions. And if all we do is tell them to move back up to the black line, we lose the opportunity to understand why they drifted away from the black line, why they made that deviation, why they took a shortcut or a workaround, why they did something differently. We lose that opportunity to gain that context and that understanding. And in doing so, we don't get the opportunity to make an intelligent decision about, hey, is the blue line better under these circumstances? Should we move the black line, or should we try to get people back up to the original black line? So it's really important that we understand why people deviate. And when we understand why people deviate, then we can make better decisions about how to address those deviations. Don't blame the worker. Don't just assume that the blue line is stupid or lazy employees. The blue line's real. We're living it every minute of every day these days, and no different from the workers in your plants. Hope this helps. If you'd like to hear more, here's my contact information. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks.